My brother was a policeman.
Yeah.
He was brutally killed, a chairperson, and then he gave us that task to say, go speak to Rukas and others in the NSFAS fold, financial aid fold, and we started defying that particular thing, and we protested, and we sold this idea to other campuses of the university. Some of the battles that we fought, we never
enjoyed the
benefits. But when you are in this journey, you are doing it for those who are going to come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one thing that they must know is that leadership needs discipline, sacrifice, and all of those things. And why must we still associate with the African National Congress? Honestly speaking, why must we still associate ourselves with them? And I applaud the establishment of the EFF. I applaud the establishment of MK because particularly the EFF, it has opened our eyes.
Hi everyone, welcome to Motivation Corner, the biggest podcast in the world. My name is Mpulu Gang, your favorite host and content creator. Welcome to yet another dose of inspiration. If you're here for the first time, do the right thing and subscribe. If you've been returning, like, share, and comment. Your comments are very important, guys. Please do that. Before we go any further, we are sponsored by Curious Child Water. Guys, please go buy their water. It's R1 a liter. And like I always said, my nails are done by Your Lips Beauty Nail Bar. Yeah. And then we sell journals, guys. Please. We sell journals. Hit us on our socials and you'll get a journal. Okay, guys, today I have someone that I think I should have invited like long time ago, but he's a busy man. Okay, guys, I'm with Titus Mkhotsi. We call him Mkhotsi. Titus Dagane. He's a father, he's a husband to one wife. They said I must mention that, one wife, and a former youth political activist, right, Mkhotsi? Yes. Welcome and please greet the viewers.
Good morning, everyone. It's a very chilly Saturday. We woke up very anxious to come and participate in the podcast, and I'm glad I'm also doing MBA this year, and so far my exams have gone very well.
Oh, congratulations, Mkhotsi.
Yeah, and I'm turning 50. I'm looking young and beautiful, and it's an inspiration also to young people that if you carry yourself very well, you age like a good bottle of wine.
Yeah. Mkhotsi, 50.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
Guys, what is the secret, Mkhotsi?
Staying happy, trying to not get into unnecessary fights and arguments. Don't hold grudges. Don't hate. Every situation that is bad. I always say to people that try to turn your cries into wine. Try to change your situation no matter how. This life is too short for us to be angry and bitter all the time. So if you stay happy, eat and exercise and drink a lot of curious child water. So yeah, you'll stay healthy and look handsome.
Yeah, no, I must commend you. You don't look anywhere near 50.
Yeah.
At least about 40.
Yeah.
Even late 30s, we can give you that. Yeah, no, well done on that. And I love the fact that it's not even like materialistic things that can keep you young. Because the people who have money, they inject stuff to stay young. But you use the natural one. You don't waste emotions. Which
I don't even go to the gym. I do it at home. Everything is DIY. I
don't
subscribe to any gym.
Yeah.
I do it at home,
Yeah, so Mkhotsi, where are you from? Just shortly, we talk your background.
I was born and bred in a small township called Kwatema. It's in Springs, not far from here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I grew up. I got my primary and high school education. And that's where my activism started there.
Oh.
The street where I was born and raised. It's Marule Street. It's a street where our old cemetery in Guatemala was situated. And just to give a brief of my activism, so when all the funerals in our township would pass my home, and one Saturday in 1984, people were singing and carrying coffins in their hands, and then it was something that was unusual, but the singing was nice. I joined them and I went to the cemetery with them because they were carrying boxes, and then I did not know that that was a funeral of a comrade. But what took me by surprise was immediately after the coffins, I think there were 4 or 5 coffins went down, and the police started shooting.
Yeah.
Then as a 10-year-old, I started realizing that there's something quite not right here. But my mom, and who was an activist herself, then explained these matters to me, and I started there to start questioning. And every weekend I would go to Guatemala Hall, because that's where the comrades who were killed during the week and their burials will, ceremonies will start in the Guatemala Hall.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed slogans, singing liberation songs, but that thing entered until I grew up in the movement. And the only thing that I know, I think it's political activism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I know from childhood until now.
So even in Tertiary, you participated. How was your political journey in Tertiary?
Well, I'm a bit different because when I finished my matric around the mid-90s, around 94, 95, both my parents were not working. I could not go to school. And 10 years later, I got an opportunity to start, studying. I was almost 28, 29 when I did my first year with 17-year-olds in the university. So the courage of me going to school at that later age was not something very easy. People would throw some insults directly and jabs.
Yeah.
But I stayed in school because that's one thing that when other young people that I grew up with who went to prisons and all that, the only thing that kept me alive was schooling and reading. But even after matriculating, when I was not studying, not working, I was at the library every day.
Wow.
Assisting other students with maths and science because I had an obsession with maths and science. But the funny part, when I went to university, I went to business. Hence, I'm doing MBA now.
Yeah. So, Mhodzi, like, where can we say that kind of personalities? Because, as you said, some of the people you grew up with, they went to jail, some died. But when you kept on going to the library, what made you be that kind of a person?
I had a mother that was never educated. Yeah. But funny enough, my mom believed in education.
Yeah.
Even when I got a first job and I lost it somewhere in 1993, if I'm not mistaken, 2003. And then I said to my mom a year later to say, you know what, I'm going to school. And the reason I wanted to go to school is because I knew I had capabilities. But, God has a way of unveiling himself to a person's life. My brother was a policeman. Yeah. He was brutally killed when he was from work, but it was something within the family, and I'm not willing to speak about it now.
Yeah, no, let's...
But I met a guy who was in Robben Island with Nelson Mandela on the night when my brother was killed, and he was working for the military intelligence. Then he was a neighbor of my brother, actually, and this other bishop came to me. I was running a spaza shop because I was always active in a container at home. Yeah. So this guy said, your brother was injured, come. Then I closed the shop and I went with him, and then I found my brother's body lying lifeless. There, lifeless. And an hour later, these processes in South Africa, they take long. those ones who have to pick up the cops and all that. So it was around 8 o'clock. This guy came and said, but this is not how we die. He meant police and soldiers.
Yeah.
He said, this is a family thing. Someone in the family did 1, 2, 3. Then I got to know the guy. We became friends. Actually, he's from Wheatbank. I'm not going to name him as well.
Yeah, okay.
And then when I got to know him better, I realized that he was amongst the youth that was arrested somewhere in 1983, 84, and they were sentenced to Robben Island. He had pictures with himself and Tokyo Sekwalis and all that in Robben Island. That was after when they visiting the island.
Yeah.
And by then I was no longer that much active, in politics because you're looking for a job and all that. But this thing follows you. And then I found that he's a comrade. And then the other day he said to me, Chief, you always say you wanted a job. We have positions in our military in Heidelberg.
Yeah.
You must go there on Monday and drop your CV. Because we grew up very, very scared of soldiers because of the abuse that we experienced with military in our townships back during P.W. Botha's era of apartheid. Now, I'm scared of going there because of the memories of the military towards us black people. Then I said to my former comrade, who's also not working, I said, Chan, they said there's comrade Mpose, there's jobs, positions and openings in the military. Let's go there tomorrow because I wanted someone just to go with me.
Yeah.
But the money that I had could only take me there and back.
Yeah.
And Heidelberg, I think it's 2 towns from Springs.
Yeah.
Then my friend agreed. We took a taxi in the morning, Monday, Brakpan, Nigel, and then to Heidelberg. Then we walked towards the military base, and we got there. We found a white lady, very gigantic white lady, and then we gave her our CVs.
Yeah.
And then she looked at them and said, "No, I'm not going to take you." Then we were like, "No, but this woman, why are you not going to take our CVs? No, you are over the age of 24.
Oh.
In the military, we don't employ people who are over the age of 24. And for you to be employed here after the age of 24, you must have at least, and back then it was called a national diploma, technicons. Then, it's fine. We had to go back home, but we walked 2 towns. That was like a 6-hour walk from Heidelberg to back into Guatemala. And that walk changed my life. As we were talking, walking, and then I said to the guy, "Look, my friend, we both have good metric pass. Let's go to the technical next year." The following day, we applied, and back then you would write a letter to the university, and they would send you forms.
Yeah.
You fill in forms, you send them back, and then you pay for that
The
thing in the application fee.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how I got to be a full-time student.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Mkhotsi. So at school, politics are following you again.
Yes,
Tertiary.
when I arrived in Technical Pretoria, TUT now, there was these things in residencies, first years, and it was myself and this other guy from Mafikeng. Then we sat down, Dr. Gia, and then we like, "No, guy, we can't be doing this thing. We're not here for this," because they were ill-treating, first years and all that.
Yeah.
So we started the revolution against this residence thingy. And from there, the following day, we realized that we were told that you were going to be expelled if you don't do these, rituals and all that. And I said to him, "Look, Mjana, tomorrow morning we must go find the office of SASCO." Because I was an activist, I knew South African Student Congress. And I said, we must make sure that we are members of SASCO so that when we defy this thing, but we have a backing politically in our campus. So, we met with comrades there. I remember one person called Tamaha Tabani. He's the guy who gave us forms. And a month later, I was elected into deputy chairperson of the campus. I think I was the first year to be in the BEC or branch executive committee.
Yeah.
But it was not because I was intelligent. I was old, and I had experience politically. I understood some of these things. So these young ones, usually they get to be exposed in politics when they are already in the university. But with my background, and I think comrades saw it fit, and we won a lot of battles. I mean, when I entered, NSFAS was actually paying for textbooks and food. They were giving you this brown card for you to go and buy books and a meal card. But that will be done during second semester. I remember I was with Comrade Kia, and we were in rest and started discussing that. He was not using NSFAS, he was paying, but because he was a troop leader. Then he said, Jana, we must take this thing head on. So that started at the Heights residence in TUT, where we were sitting around and saying, but why would a NSFAS give us money for textbook in the second semester? So in a way, they are trying to make us fail so that we go back home with nothing. Because usually when you fail your first semester, you may experience academic exclusion by the following year. So we started that. We brought it to the BEC of SASCO. I remember one comrade of ours, Lucas Pasha, was our chairperson, and then he gave us that task to say, go speak to Lucas and others in the NSFAS fold, financial aid fold, and we started defying that particular thing, and we protested, and we sold this idea to other campuses of the university, vets and others, and then boom, the following year things started changing.
Oh wow, Mkhozi.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we're proud of.
Proud of, so
even the language policy in the university.
Wow.
That we're working for TUT. We used to have a question paper that was written in Afrikaans and at the back in English. So it was giving white students an unfair advantage because we were in Pretoria campus where it's predominantly Bapedi and Botswana. So we then started just to say we also want question papers written in our language because and also in lecture halls. I'm one of those students that led the struggle against the use of Afrikaans in lecture halls. This university that I work for, lecturers who are white and Afrikaans speaking.
They used to teach
no, they were teaching in English. But when a white student asks a question, he will or she will ask it in Afrikaans and they will respond in Afrikaans. But black lecturers were not allowing us to ask them in our father tongue. So we said that is an unfair advantage and we protested against that. And the university at the current juncture is using English as the medium of instruction, but that came from our struggles, and I was a first year by then, but not alone. I cannot claim hegemony but it was a collective decision, but it's one of the discussions that we use. We were extremely informed, but I think also reading. We were reading a lot, and what we did was on Saturdays and Sundays, we used to have sessions in our residences where comrades would come in, would buy newspapers and read university policies. So that sharpened our activism. And funny enough, we've never striked and closed campus for more than 3 hours, and we did it only once in our 4-year stay in the university. We believed in engagement.
Wow, Mkhozi. So what can you tell the current, because as you work at the university now, you know it's very, very different from how you are. Where do you think they're getting it wrong?
I think lack of knowledge.
Not giving enough time to read.
Yes, because honestly speaking, political activism is not for everyone. It's more like a calling to others, because we are we are where we are as a country because people started realizing that politics can become monetary in nature. nature and character. So people are, everyone wants to be called a comrade these days.
Kader.
Because Kader, because there's money is involved, there's business, there's tenders.
Yeah.
And then even our young student leaders, you can hear, not all of them, but pockets of them would
they have an intention of making
instead money of and growing themselves and working for others, because leadership is about working for others. And some things, as I always say to young people today, that some of the battles that we fought, we never
enjoyed the benefits.
But when you are in this journey, you are doing it for those who are going to come after you. So I think one thing that they must know is that leadership needs discipline, sacrifice, and all of those things. And
it's not for you, actually.
Yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Rather learn and be led. Don't want to lead even when you are not ready.
Okay, Mokhodzi, I know I said we're going to talk about almost everything that is happening, but I was going through your Facebook page. I don't know whether to say you detest ANC. What is your relationship? Because you are from SASCO, and SASCO affiliate with ANC, right? So, but you are so loud on your socials that you are not happy with ANC and its leadership.
Okay, let me start it here. The Congress movement is led by the African National Congress. It's a party that we love.
Okay.
It's a party that is in our DNA. Whether you leave ANC, you join EFF, you leave ANC, you join MKP, you leave ANC, currently maybe joining Maibuye, but your DNA is within the African National Congress. That's the only home we have. And when the parents at home are fighting one another, the children get extremely affected. But we have a responsibility as the lovers of this movement to say as is, because the ANC taught me, particularly as a person, that our struggles, I was thinking last night, what am I going to say in this podcast? But to be honest with you, I remember we used to sing about Mandela, the release in prison. We were envisaging, we were waiting for the release of Comrade Mandela, Sisulu, the return of O.R. Tambo and Joe Slovo and others. And what we were expecting, it's not what we are seeing today. We love the ANC and we have to criticize the ANC. I remember Gwede Mantashe, when he was still the Secretary General of the ANC, used to say that the ANC is not corrupt, which we agreed upon, but people who come to the ANC are corrupt. But our problem is that the ANC is not dealing
with the
harshly
corrupt.
With those who are corrupt. And currently, for an example, we have a president that came into power. All of us were happy that now a businessman is going to lead
economically.
Economically, he's a shrewd businessman. He's not corruptible and all of those. But he's the first and the worst that this country has ever had. He could not even he blocked the investigation on who funded the CR17, his campaign to become president. And it's very important for the society to know that, because who knows that the giants who are holding on the economy of the country, they have all the tenders in government, they may be as a result of their contribution to CR17. So if you are a president that is neutral, you are a non-corrupt person, you should be able to say, comrades, I'm not corrupt. Here it is. But this is also the president that used the ANC majority to block the investigation of Phala. Today we have a Senzo Mchunu debacle. The very same president does not fire Senzo, but put him on leave. It means Senzo is still getting paid by our tax money. So this is the anger that the frustration actually that we have against the African National Congress.
Yeah.
It has taken wrong decisions. Black people are still poor. White people are still
Thriving.
And I think my frustration also came in 2020
Yeah.
during COVID-19.
Yeah.
Personally, now it's not about the country. Me personally, I've been abused several times by the soldiers. I've seen how they did to our society between 1984 and towards 1993. And during COVID-19, for the ANC-led government to deploy soldiers in our townships, and me and you and everyone else who follow social media, we have seen how soldiers, police did what they did to our black society in townships. They were beating up women who came from spaza shops to get food for their children. They made them to do squats and all of that. That was abusive. And we did not by any chance thought that the ANC could set soldiers on us. And some of us who are staying in the so-called former white suburbs, there was nothing of that sort.
Yeah.
White people were having braais in their yards and all that. But in black townships, the abuse of power and militarily so was seen. I think that was when I said I'm stopping from being active in the ANC. Having said that, also what made me, I think, personally angry and left frustrated, was politicians are lawmakers.
Yeah.
And they are supposed to be the first to abide by the very same law that they make.
Yeah.
But guess what? In 2020, during COVID, you were not supposed to drink, you were not supposed to go out. But ANC leaders, I can name them, Fikile Mbalula, who's this Stellan Dagane, and if I'm not mistaken, Lebogang Maile, but I'm standing to be corrected. But others in the ANC, these younger leaders, were found in a particular house drinking, having parties during COVID-19. But did the president did something to them? Nothing was done. So it means it goes back to the book that we were reading in high school, that others are more equal than others.
Yeah, the animal farm.
The animal farm, yes. So we are living in that situation. And no wonder our people voted the way they voted.
Yeah. So there's, every time I go to Robben Island, I think I went twice. There's this guy, Robert Sobukwe.
Okay.
Why is he not talked about so much? Because that guy seems like when they are telling us, narrating his story, he seems to be a patriot.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like a fighter. Like he's the one who managed to leak that South Africa is under apartheid. It's being abused to the world. That he's the one. But a lot is not said about him, and that upset me because this guy suffered. There's a time where he was secluded and he was staying alone. Other prisoners, they were staying in another place, but he was not allowed to meet with anyone.
Look, now that we are out of the ANC, some of us, we're starting to question some things. That, when you are still within the house, you won't see these things.
Okay.
But until when you leave the house and look at it from far, you start questioning other things. It's not only Steve Biko. There are many things that were distorted in our history. Great leaders like him, because he was a Pan-Africanist, the kind of politics that he was pushing for a total liberation of black people.
Yeah.
And let me be honest with you, within the African National Congress, that is a taboo. You can't speak about black freedom because comrades will, say, no, Mchana, you are out of order. This Ubuntu democracy, today I call it a cosmetic textbook kind of a democracy. There's no democracy in this country.
Yeah.
You cannot say there's freedom while others are poor, and those who are rich due
still continue to be rich.
Yes, due to the apartheid system are still very well fed. They everything of theirs is fine. So the politics of Steve Biko and
Not
Robert
Steve.
Sook
Oh, yeah,
Biko,
Robin. Okay.
yeah, it was black consciousness and Pan-Africanism, meaning that they were pushing that black people need to own back their land. So that is not the politics of the ANC. So the ANC is in power. So all of those things were closed with a blanket so that no one knows about them unless you are a researcher, inquisitive kind of a person. But now that they messed up to this stage, we start asking ourselves, why was Oliver Tambo staying in London when Britain was actually the one that was funding the apartheid government? Why was Thabo Mbeki schooled in London, Paulo Jordan, and many other ANC leaders? Today, I even ask myself, why did Nelson Mandela speak to the system and left all his comrades in Robben Island and went to a very better, those are some of the questions. And when you look at what is happening today, you start realizing that maybe comrades were not negotiating for us, but for themselves, because the Mandelas are rich, the Mbegis are rich, the Sisulus are rich, and many other, the Zumas are rich and all of that. But the rest of us who were supporting these leaders are left destitute in poverty.
When
you speak about that, you will be hated.
Yes.
Extremely.
When you're saying about, especially with Mandela, when we're there, remember the people who tell us this history is the former prisoners. Yes. So we asked the other one that, did you guys agree with Mandela that this is how you want things to be? You could tell, because now when I talk to a person, I look at their facial expression, like I know it will tell me. He's like, yeah, no, that's what, but I knew right there and there that they didn't agree with him.
Remember also, Ruth, that even when we speak of ethical leadership, it talks about you being ethical from the ground up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in a situation where we find ourselves, you have children, you have a wife, you have bills to pay and stuff like that. So other things you are not going to say them as you have to say them. So that's the situation we find ourselves in South Africa. And with that continuing, I can tell you it will take us 300 years to move an inch from where we are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the history, that apartheid as a law started in 1910. But around 40, 50 years down the line, in the 60s and 70s, white people were very far, Afrikaners, in terms of the economy and all of those.
Yeah.
But when you count 50, let's say 50 years.
Yeah.
So we are almost 19 years towards 50 years after democracy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like...
It doesn't look like
it doesn't.
And what frustrates me, let me be honest with you, and let me try and paint a picture of a white society and a black society. And I'm not trying to be racist by any means.
No, we're just telling the truth. Yeah.
But we're talking about what, if we can drive from here to the nearest township, you will realize that. When a black child is born into poverty, one, he or she the mother has to apply for grants, social grants, and when she goes to have first school, she receives what do you call this? There's this feeding schemes, and when he finishes school, he gets NSFAS and go back, graduate from university, college, or technicon, and go back to a white man and beg for a job. Yeah. And in the process, the mother will apply for an RDP house, which is so-called a free house, and get unemployment, 350 grants and all that. But look at a white child. He is born into business. He is born into wealth. A white man is able to build his own house. We go into RDP. A white man is able to buy his own house. We fight for RDPs. A white man is able to pay school fees for his child and give him what we call this kaftin election. But your child has to eat from the feeding scheme. And when he goes to university, they are able to pay for them. You have to be in the queues for financial aid in your campus. And when they graduate, they go and become managers of their fathers and forefathers' businesses. And they are able to buy and build businesses. And they are able also to leverage from their family's wealth to start businesses, which in our case is not. I'm not by means saying that NSFAS is wrong, grants are wrong, no. But I'm saying when we fought for freedom, we fought for a freedom where a black man will be able to pay for his child support, able to build and buy a house for his children, be able to take care of his wife and take care of his bills and be able to participate fully into the economy. Right now, even in business, when you want to, there's a gap between us and them in terms of prospering. Yes, we always encourage our young people to go to entrepreneurship. We've got Boba too right now. We have what's that drink here, DJ Spoon. Yeah. You can find them in retail because the retail space is still with white people. And part of the anger that maybe our people have against the African National Congress leadership is that we even failed to establish a retail brand.
Or even a bank.
Or a bank. Because, when Sam Mutsunyane, the founder of African Bank and NAFCOC, when they relate his story, they started African Bank, and when they had that's what I had, spoken.
It's alleged.
Story, alleged. That when they went into financial problems, they approached the state, the government. They were never assisted. They were liquidated and they had to sell African Bank to white people. Wow. When African Bank was now in the hands of white people, it also experienced financial problems. They approached the state assisted them. So who's benefiting actually into this freedom and democracy? We are not benefiting. And if we are, it's so little that it's not visible. And we cannot say the ANC did not do, it did a lot. But with the current status quo,
with how we are
and where we are, I mean, it's a shame that a president would decide how he decided with the Mutunu debacle. Who on earth has ever thought that the African National Congress leaders would sleep in one bed with drug pushers, with people who are doing what we call these cash in transit heists, and it's why must we still associate with the African National Congress? Honestly speaking, why must we still associate ourselves with them? Maybe their role was to liberate us to 1994, and something else needed to take from there going forward. And I applaud the establishment of the EFF. I applaud the establishment of MK because particularly the EFF, it has opened our eyes.
Yeah. No, EFF did a lot.
Did a lot.
For us as we didn't care about parliament, we didn't care about anything state affairs. They did a lot.
Actually, EFF brought politics into
black houses.
Yes, and the young ones.
And made us understand.
I remember that every leader politically used to speak about youth empathy and all that. That young people are no longer voting, they are no longer interested in politics. That's where corruption went high, because people were now settled. We are going to same restaurants with white people. We can shake their hands. And, and I can buy a house next door, a white person. And we forgot the most important thing that was economy. Because as much as you see the system is very cruel. They tell us about the richest guy in South Africa is Motsepe. And then I say it's nonsensical because Motsepe is not owning any big mines in diamonds and gold and whatnot. We know De Beers, we know Impala in platinum, we know all of those mines, but he's not there. But what the system did during the negotiations, they created an elite society amongst
Yeah.
our people. They gave Mandela's monies, they gave the Sisulus, they gave all of those comrades were fine, so that they can forget about what has been agreed upon.
Yeah.
When you look at the Freedom Charter, something that we were chanting during the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, but when they came into power, all of that was forgotten. And why I'm saying that, and I know it sounds controversial,
Yeah.
but look at how many black people. I mean, Ruth, you buy a house in Sentim, everyone must question, how did Ruth buy a house in Sentim?
Yeah.
But when you count the houses in Sentim, out of 100 houses, there's only, let's say, 10 black people there. Why are we not questioning white people about it? For an example, you raised the matter earlier on when we were speaking at days prior to this about Dudula. Then I said to myself, in answering that question, mine is to say, why are we so worried? Yes, illegal immigrants are a problem, but why are we concentrating on a person like me and you, whilst these white people who've got money, they are the ones who corrupted our leaders. You cannot be corrupt all by yourself. ANC leaders were corrupted by white rich people. We did not even take to court those who raped our mothers, our sisters, those who killed us. There's so many graves that we don't know where the people who were buried in shallow graves that we don't even know about today. We did not take even one of them to court. And then we claim that we are going to have a democracy. People lost their children. People lost their mothers, fathers, grandfathers,
No one was
wealth, and so forth.
persecuted for that.
But when we raise those matters, I mean, remember, those are the matters that made Julius Malema to be expelled in the ANC and Floyd Shivambu, because they were raising these matters. They were not comfortable, these old men and women, with that. When young people were asking that you are, for an example, there's so many things that are going wrong in the country. In South Africa, it's not a law, but it's an unofficial law that after the age of 35, if your story is not at its, you must wait from then.
Yeah. And then when you are 65, you should be at home.
At home, yes.
But we have 70-year-olds.
80-year-olds in parliament who sleep there every day and they eat for free, they get transported for free, and they are doing absolutely nothing. Anything they do, it's meetings about who's going to get the next tender somewhere. Here in Witbank, I mean, I ask myself, comrades are driving expensive cars. How do they feel driving in these kind of roads in Witbank?
Yeah.
But they are in leadership, and no one cares. You understand? No one cares. And I think I never agreed to Prince Mashele for many years. Mm-hmm. But I started listening to Prince Mashele attentively so.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the guy is sharp, very sharp. He hits it on the nail. He hits the nail in the right spot when he unpacks things about what is actually happening in the country.
But you know what people do? They'll be like when since you're an ANC activist or Bonabo or Julius, they will always say just because things didn't work for them, they couldn't benefit. Now they want to come and make ANC bad. What do we say about that?
I am very proud that I was never working for government as an official, or not an official, but not as a political appointee. I've never led the ANC in a regional, provincial, or national, and I'm glad I've never done so, because I would be regretting having led a ship that sinks. And even when I'm unemployed, I'm not obsessed with richness. I am satisfied where I am, but the problem that I have is every time I drive to the township, I find black kids drunk, on nyaupe and all that.
Which
and
are brought by our leaders.
Yes, and when I grew up, Even now, I'm turning 50, I've never seen a drug with my naked eye. I've never seen it. It was something else. You know, in the townships, the drug that was there was alcohol and dagga. And those who were smoking dagga, they would do it in their corners, not
Way
in
far,
public.
yeah.
And I still believe now, I'm standing to be corrected, that if Nyaupe was killing white kids, this problem would have been buried a long time ago. Because South Africa is a race country between blacks and whites. I can tell you, I don't hate white people. I love them, my neighbors and my lecturers, my co-workers.
Our colleagues.
But it can never be untold that white people have an unfair advantage, and we don't need to strip anything from white people. But we are saying, let us live together as South Africans, but let us share equally everything that this country produces. But that's where the problem is. And let me tell you one thing. We cannot blame white people.
No,
White people,
we can't.
blamed them until 1994. After 1994, it's us, our leaders. When we voted them into power, at some point, ANC had a 2/3 majority. What have they done with it? Thabo Mbeki was writing poems with big English, going to all these places. And let me tell you the white system, how it works. When I say white system, I'm not saying white people. I'm saying the system that ruled the country prior 1994. What they do is, when you agree with them, they would make you big. Mandela was made big. You could not
They
even...
They give you popularity
and they
reputation.
protect your reputation.
Yeah.
They protect you. Mandela looks like a Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah.
He is loved even by white people.
There are people who still
but the very white
would want
people
to come
who
where he
love
was.
Mandela hates us so much that they want to see us continuously in poverty. So do you call that love? The very white people, I mean, go to any bookstore. You still find a lot of books written about Mandela. Who's the publisher? It's a white company. Who wrote the book? It's the white company. Then they are praising him. But the very same system that praised Mandela hates his people and wants his people to stay in an abject poverty. I cannot call that love.
Yeah.
It's pretentiousness of the highest order. Black people are not wanted in this country. Black people are not loved everywhere else. Julius Malema is correct to say, I cannot sit here and say a brother of mine in Mozambique is now an illegal immigrant in South Africa, because whatever that made our brothers and sisters run, and those who come to our country and do crime, we must deal with them as criminals. But we cannot push them out of the country and say we are not going to give them medical care and all that. Because when you read the African history, it tells you that we were moving around.
Yeah.
Yourself, you are a girl that was born and raised in Lesotho. Why must I say House Ruth is here to take my job? Because there's Basotho of Lesotho, there's Basotho of Kwakwa, there's Basotho in Val, and all that. So how do you say when your Rangwani is in Putadichaba and when you are in Maseru, and then now you are not?
Besides that, also, when it comes to Lesotho, like there are people who ran away from the Shaka War. They went and fled to Lesotho.
And they were given...
they stayed there, yeah.
That is why I'm saying this Dudula, it's a project to divide black people. It's not a project to unite us. Can we have the very same anger against the Ruperts? Can we have the same anger against all of those who are in charge of the economy? We can't. We are fighting people who are moneyless, homeless, and it's not the revolution.
Who are even being exploited wherever they're working.
Wherever they're working. And they are just doing that because they have to put bread on the table. So I think what we need is the teachings of Robert Sobukwe and Steve Biko. Let us be passionate about unifying ourselves as African people in particular. Because even when you go to, black people are mistreated and ill-treated everywhere. And there's something that I'm going to speak about, and I know it's uncomfortable.
Okay.
even our Indian brothers don't treat us with respect. Those who are here, who born with us and grew with us in South Africa. In Springs, there was an incident, I think, just after 1994. When Muslims on Fridays go to mosques, and when they have shops, they lock their shops.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in one of the incidents, the manner in which some of them don't like us, they locked the employees in the shop.
Huh.
Every Friday when they go to the mosque. And
so that they don't go.
Yes, so they don't go and they don't steal. Everyone are not trusted as a people. And one unfortunate day, those workers got banned inside the shop. In Springs, where I come from. You can Google that thing if you want to. So I'm saying that I'm not here to speak on behalf of the EFF. I'm not their member.
Yeah.
But some of the things that the leader is saying are correct. That we are hated by everyone. I saw on social media our young people who go to China as exchange students.
Yeah,
they even touch your skin and
they're made animals.
Yeah, they are made
to
animals.
be viewed. Yeah,
and look at the Chinese guys who are running shops in our downtowns and CBDs. How they treat. Yes, they are not employing South Africans because we can organize. They employ the so-called foreign black nationals, and then so that they can exploit them. Look at how they treat them. Look at how they speak to them. Usually, I cause drama in some of the shops where I see either a white man or a Greek or ill-treating my brother. I stand up. Julius did it. When I look at Malema and how he conducts himself at times, I really say, but the guy is true.
Yeah.
He's got his own flops. He can say whatever, and we can criticize him. It's part of politics. But I can tell you, in terms of principle, in terms of wanting to liberate black people, EFF is on point. MK needs to sort out their family issues within. They are on point, but they are still babies. But EFF has a track record of fighting for our people in shops and all that. And now I sound EFF and I don't want to. But I'm just so passionate about the liberation of my people. Yeah. Yeah, that's what my dream is, to see a South Africa where a white child and a black child can compete equally so in an equal footing.
Yeah. So if General Corners would choose a party, which one do you think would he be?
I don't think he would go to politics, but if it would happen, most probably would be EFF.
Is it?
Yeah, it supported him from day one. Well, yes, more maybe MK or Maibu, but I don't think he could go to the ANC of its nature now. ANC is a great organization. It needs to change its attitude. It needs to change
the
leadership and how it does things. Yeah. But for them to do that, they need to be out of power. That one, I don't compromise. We need to remove the ANC out of power so that it can deal with itself. Yeah. And then we can
come back late.
Have proper people to lead, because we cannot afford an a situation where the history of the African National Congress is written out of the books. Yeah. We cannot afford that. It's the only thing that we have that connects us from the bitter days to the better days. It's the African National Congress. And I'm saying this in a very heavy heart, to say the ANC needs to be removed in power so that it can deal with itself and it can come back as a renewed force that seeks to ensure that this country is non-racial, is non-sexist and democratic in its nature. So other parties were not speaking that kind of a language. And the language that was spoken by the ANC is the language that we all understand, even white people. But the manner in which it was corrupted, it cannot be allowed to continue. Yeah. Yeah, that's my personal view. Yeah. Yeah, and people will take
No,
decisions.
if you have a better view, you can come to the podcast. Let's discuss. Yeah. So no, before we close, Mukhodzi, what do you think, as apart from voting them out, what else are we angry enough? What can we do to make sure, like, is the strike protest gonna help us maybe close the country, just so that they listen and do what is right, especially based on what Mkhwanazi has revealed to us, because it doesn't have to, because at this point it's like it's not aisakhulunywa that much, so that thing needs to be.
Yeah, that's the sickness of our society. You know, one thing that the ANC did profoundly so was to disconnect people from mobilizing. They mastered that thing. They made it anyone who tries to mobilize was seen as an outcast. I remember Jacob Zuma saying when Floyd and the others, Julius, started EFF, and then he said, "Giyabanda ngaphandle." If you go outside, it's called, meaning you are going to starve. You know, some people, I'm not going to name them, they used to say, "Titus, you are one of the poorest comrades. What happened? We thought that you were going to be rich." But I never joined the struggle for that.
Yeah.
So when you are saying as the President of the Republic that ANC giyabanda ngaphandle, I can interpret it to say, oh, it means Julius was not going to get tenders again. If you go outside of this movement, you are going to be in poverty. So that's the kind of situation that they've created. And many, not the African National Congress alone, many, including your ZANU PFs and many other liberation movements in Africa, they did the same thing. I don't think we need to necessarily close the country. The economy is in a dire situation. We can't close the country. We need to keep on engaging. We have the responsibility to conscientize our people and we need to boycott this dialogue that this Cyril Ramaphosa is coming up with, because we cannot have a dialogue with people that we want to discuss. I cannot have a case against you and come and discuss that case with you. It cannot be correct. We need to, it's a waste of money. You know, when you look, it's good that you said you checked my Facebook. Before the president spoke, and
yes, I wanted to say that to you, like, he's not here. When he comes back, he's going to propose
a commission of inquiry that will take billions from our coffers. And when he announced that, I posted again to say, I said it before. And
they're so predictable.
They are so predictable. Let me tell you, I spoke to some of my comrades during COVID-19 when certain amounts of billions were announced by the president to say that this 5 is going billion. To have 5 billion
500 or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I was sitting with my cousins, my wife and all that. Then I said, watch the space. Another scandal in a month's time. They will chow that. And I also wrote it on Facebook that you watch the space. And it happened exactly that when, I remember, I think it was Dr. Bandile Masuku who was implicated in those kind of things. They are so predictable. So the country, for it to continue in a gear that is moving forward, it has to remove the ANC out of power. Let's get someone else who can. Because remember one thing, even white people were starting to love this ANC.
Yeah.
They were starting not to have a problem, realizing that, you know, the lies that were told that when ANC takes power, there's going to be violence, poverty. No, that is not going to happen. White people were starting to realize that, okay, but it's workable. But today, I can tell you, ask any white person about Cyril Ramaphosa, they will tell you, there's no middle class anymore. People who bought houses past 5, 6, 7 years, they don't afford them anymore.
Yeah.
We're just sitting in those houses because where can I go? You understand me? They've put us into more debt. They've put us into economic misery. I mean, it's. Are we shocked the way Donald Trump reacted and said, I will arrest any one of the ANC. I don't want them to come to my country. And if I was Donald Trump, I was going to do the same. Why would you want a political party whose leaders are in cahoots with criminals and drug lords
Yeah,
and
even
all that.
exploiting
That
their
is-
own people.
That is the lowest that we have ever seen with our government. That's the lowest. You know, this thing of Ausrud took 500 million, he gave. We were now getting used to it. It was an everyday story. But drugs, looking at, when you watch social media,
Sizokuthola.
looking at Bo Alostro, is this what a black child needs to be? Bolerato, those who almost died from Nyaupe. When you look at Alostro, he's not going to come back. I don't think
No,
there's
he's
a
never
comeback.
gonna be normal.
Yes. And there's millions of Alostros out there.
Yeah.
And if the ANC leaders are party to turning our children into that, I am sorry, I cannot.
Yeah. Because yeah, ke a itse hore as high, as tall as you are, we can talk.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any last words, Jay,
Well,
you can say to a black child?
There's still hope. The democracy of our country, it's a work in progress. We should not fold our arms and say hulukile. It cannot be. Mandela himself said it that if the ANC does what the National Party did to us, we have to do what we did to the National Party during that time. So we live with that now. That's our hope. To say, Tambo said it, that we cannot have an ANC that is corruptible, a government that, and I'm using the word ANC all the time because it is the party that is in charge. It is its leaders that are being found wanting. It is its leaders that are being, called corrupt and all that. But there is hope. This is a beautiful country, and we will lay our lives for it. If needs be, we will lay our lives for it. And I'm not saying this in a violent way, but I'm saying that in a democratic space that we have created in 1994, we shall use our vote to correct the incorrect that is happening in our country. We cannot fold our arms and say, hulukile. There's too much hope. This country is going to change, and it's going to change for the better. But it will have different leaders. It will have different people who are even in private sector. This corruption thing has stopped. And it's not black, it's not white. Everyone who is corrupt, because there are many white people who are party to this, and because they've got money to buy newspapers and media spaces.
To change our narrative.
Yes, to change the narrative. So what I want to say is that when I say the ANC, it's because it's leading. But it's not only them who are corrupt. People behind the leaders who are corrupt, some of them are in business, which are white in majority and all that. But there is hope. We cannot lose hope. And what we need to do as young people, as middle class people, is to engage in marches, writing. Right now, you don't have to be in a meeting to influence the direction of the country. Yeah. We can do it over our phones.
We are here.
Yes. This podcast must be our platform, because SABC won't give you this space to speak against. They don't bite the hand that feeds them. Yeah. So these podcasts are there for us, freely so, to speak about what needs to happen. We don't need to go back to the street and konope matlapa again. We can't do that. We are a more civilized, we're not civilized per se, but a more current kind of society. So our children cannot go to the streets. But what they share amongst themselves, the information that they share amongst themselves, will be the one. I said it before, many comrades said it before, to say that our children will never vote you, ANC, into power while you are doing these things to them.
They will not.
And our children is our future. Yeah. So we need to debate these things from home. When they go back to school, you say to them, don't allow a white child to bully you on the basis, or a white teacher to bully you because you are black. Let them not speak against your afro because you are black. We cannot have our schools where we are told that our children must move cheese cops and white children have their hair natural as they are. If you want an afro, you did not go to school to display a chiscop. Even in your afro, you are still beautiful. We need to teach our children to say no to drugs, to say no to unprotected sex, to say no to extreme alcoholism, to say no to racism, and to say no to corruption.
Yeah.
We need to teach them. The struggle starts in our homes now. We don't go to the streets anymore. We teach our children how to react to a society that is unjust to them.
One last thing before we close. You are a father of many, many kids who are in their young adults, not your small kids.
Yes.
What is the message for them? Because I know they're going to be watching your rest students.
Yeah, they must not lose hope. They must stay focused in their education. They must learn it from me, that education changed my life, and they must not be fooled by anyone else. But even if they go to Mapiano and all of those, they must stay away from drugs, stay away from alcoholism, and let them kill, surgically so, let them kill this mentality, ya monna ke vene, slave
Munna must.
queens and munna must. They must kill that. Young, black, beautiful women learn to be independent because the situation allows you now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. And if you have a comment, please comment down below. From me and Mr. Dagane. Bye.
Bye.